Okay, factorize this one here. All right. Now, when you've got a number in front of the x squared, right, we've got to times that one by the end number there, if you remember. Okay. So when we do this multiply add thing on the right hand side, okay, then we get them to multiply what 15 times minus 6 is. Yeah. So you're timesing what's in front of the x squared by the minus 6 here. Use your calculator if you want to check. It comes to be minus 90, and then we need to add up to give what that number in front of the x is, which of course is a 1. Okay, or rather it's minus 1, isn't it? Okay, because it's minus in front of the x, so minus 1. Now we need two numbers that multiply to give minus 90, add up to give minus 1. So if we just think about 90 for a minute, two numbers that multiply to give 90, 10 and 9, yeah? 10 and 9. Well, they multiply to give 90. But I need them to add up to give minus 1. So if I make it a negative 10, positive 9, then that will then add up to minus 1, won't it? If I did it the other way round, if I made that positive and that negative, it would be 10 take away 9, which is 1. So that would be wrong. So you've got to get the order right. Minus 10 plus 9 is minus 1. And check them, when they multiply, they do multiply to give minus 90, don't they? So then we can have two brackets, okay? And in each bracket, I'm going to write 15x, okay? And I'm going to write the two numbers that I've got there. So minus 10 and plus 9, all right? But we must remember, from factorising here, because we times by 15 there, in a way, we sort of, this method, you've got to sort of pay back, and you know you've got to divide by 15, okay? Both brackets. And then we look in both brackets, we look to see if there's any common factors. So in this first bracket here, 15 and 10, of course, there's a common factor of 5, isn't it? 5 we can take out. Now, what do we times by 5 to get 15? Well, that would be 3, so 3x. And then what do we times by 5 to get 10? And that would be 2, wouldn't it? Okay, or minus 2, isn't it? Because we want to get minus 10. In the second bracket then, 15x and 9, common factors there. What goes into 15 and 9? Well, of course, 3 goes into 15 and 9. And what do I times by 3 to get 15? Well, that will be 5. And then what do I times by 3 to get 9? And that will be 3. Okay, so we get that there. Divide then the whole thing by 15. And what you'll notice, of course, then is, because you've got a 5 here and a 3 here, 5 times 3 is 15, and divide by 15 is 1, so they cancel each other out. Yeah, it's important to see that, because you've got a 5 and a 3, when you times them, 5 times 3, 15, but divide by 15 is just 1, they cancel out. So you end up then with the two brackets, 3x minus 2, 5x plus 3, okay, as a product of those two brackets. Then it says, hence solve this. Now we've got to appreciate that this is a quadratic equation, and a quadratic curve is a parabola, isn't it? Okay, and if it's positive in front of that x squared, and it is, it's a smiley face parabola. Okay, and basically, okay, you're going to have a parabola like this, whereby, in this instance, it will smiley face, and it will cut the x-axis at 2 points. Okay, it'll cut it here, and it'll cut it here. It'll intersect. But what's important when it cuts the x-axis, right? The x-axis, what's important is, if you think about it, y is 0, isn't it? So if you thought about those coordinates, the y value would be 0. The x values, we can actually determine, we can work out by this method here. So when it says, hence solve this equals to 0, we're interested in when this curve is 0 at these 2 points. So what we do is we put these two brackets instead, that's why it says hence, we put these two brackets equal to 0. Okay, because it's got the quadratic equal to 0, put the two brackets, which we factorize it as equal to 0. Okay, and we can actually work out what these x values are then. Alright, so you say then, look, either the first bracket is 0, so you say either 3x minus 2 is 0, or the second bracket is 0. Because remember, when you're timesing two things together, if the answer is 0, one of those things has got to be 0, isn't it? Okay, so either the 3x minus 2 is 0, which means then take the minus 2 over, becomes a plus 2, and then you take the 3 over, and because you times in by 3, take it over, we divide. And the same here, take the 3 over, it becomes minus 3, and then take the 5 over and divide, you get 3 over 5. So you've got two answers there. They're both fractions, but that's what those values are. This would be minus 3/5, and this will be 2/3 in terms of the x values there on the axes.